Hello, BookTube. Back for another try at this Saturday live. I guess not really try. This has done a few of them. Why all of a sudden it went from 0 to 13 seconds live? Oh, something screwed up there.
That's
Uh,
weird.
says 0 watching. Oh, now 3 watching. So
Okay. And then it will go down because some of
yeah,
those two will get nervous because they think we can see them. They're like,
yeah,
oh, shit, better
yeah.
run
And then I
away.
got an email saying I'm now live on my channel.
Hmm.
So that's always
I got
helpful.
one saying that Sean's live. No, I haven't yet. Maybe I will. But I didn't
Uh,
even get a notification. Yeah, we're down to one now. So there you go. They ran away.
yeah.
Yeah, they realized it was not a tarot card session. So yeah.
Do you want to control the? Or can you?
Sure, Mick's here. Hi, Mick. Stop looking at me. Oh, sorry, can't help it. We know who you are. So
Yeah, all you get is an icon at the top and a number beside it. Who
yeah.
knows who it is? I have
Oh,
no
what you
idea.
see? It says we got one, unless Mick's run away
Yeah,
because Gavin's now here saying, "What? No tarot?" So yeah.
yeah. How does
Mm.
yeah? So it doesn't really tell you anything.
Gavin, I'm seeing paper bound up in some kind of other paper, possibly books. I think there might be books in your future. So there you go. Maria's here. Hi, Maria.
So, so the
So now
three. So now it
we're back
says
to
three.
three, yeah.
So
And now we know who all three are.
yeah,
Unless we get a fourth one and it still says three, and then we're like, oh, who is it? What's going on? So it's almost like we coordinated today.
well, I realized the other one was getting a little spotty with the bits of stuff that. This is a good soup strainer, but sometimes it gets onto the shirt.
Uh, it's like you're in the room. Well, there we are. Ariane's here. Hello to
Yeah.
you.
Hello. Yeah, she said she would stop in. She sent me a message on Voxer earlier.
Mm.
She's
Oh, that's
reading
good.
Hyperion and enjoying it. So
Hmm. Yes. I think she said on. I don't know if it was last week or in the live on Wednesday. So someone
yeah.
someone said it anyway. I'm sure Ariane did. Hyperion Cantos. Yeah. So. Ah. So what have you been reading, Sean?
Not well. I suppose I can say that I've read something. I've read a 3-page introduction from
Uh-huh.
this book called The Record. I'll read the full title of it because it's worth reading. It was originally published in 1835 ish and after. It's The Record, or a series of official papers relative to the condition and treatment of the native tribes of South Africa, compiled and translated and edited by D. Moody, lieutenant in the Royal Navy.
And does he look moody?
He does actually.
Oh yeah. He does look a bit moody. He looks very pensive actually, doesn't he? Hmm.
This is a reprint or a photostatic reprint from 1960. But in the introduction, it was kind of interesting when these when he proposed to do it. He had lots of money, government money thrown at him from South Africa, from Cape Colony, and everything. And people were giving money. And then all of a sudden, they realized that he's going to publish documents that show that there is not very good treatment to the natives of South Africa. So
Hmm.
therefore, they pulled it and destroyed the whole project eventually
Oh
because it
jeez.
was it was going to be longer by sounds of it and bigger. But
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
they just sort of pulled his money and tried to stop him. So
But he was able to get at least some out, some
yeah,
works out. Uh-huh.
yeah. And then the next thing that was done, as I was saying, is there's a Canadian who went to South Africa in the late 1800s. He became an archivist there, and he put out like probably 50 volumes of documents, which I'd love to get in
Mm-hmm.
total.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 sets. I've got one of the sets actually in a reprint, but it's only four volumes, and one was 35, I think, for Cape Colony. And then he wrote like 11 volume history or 10 volume history of South Africa.
All right. Okay. Summer's here.
Hello.
Hey, Summer. Good to see you. And Mick's just greeting Summer. So, yeah, I finished a book yesterday. I finished The House by the Lake, which was the winner of the books that I asked BookTube to choose for me, and it was excellent. I have to say. Watch this space. There may be a corker video coming out soon. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Very, very interesting. Just follows the history of this house from 1890. Well, basically through to almost the present day. I think it's like 2015 or something. It stops, but it leaves in such a way that it kind of continues. But it was excellent, yeah, really, and quite moving. A couple of times I had a bit of, bit of moisture in the eyes, and then I was tempted to go on and read something else by him, and then I got distracted, and I got myself a copy of this instead. And it's not my normal. It's not my normal reading, but I was very curious. And I don't usually read modern royal biographies, but I decided to try this one. Andrew Lowney's entitled The Rise and Fall of the House of York, which looks, of course, at Prince Andrew and Fergie. And it says the most devastating royal biography ever written by the Daily Mail. And I can well imagine it, frankly. It's it's absolutely shocking. If you didn't like the royal family before, or if you didn't like them before, it's certainly not going to do anything to improve it. The amount of wastage, sexual deviancy, corruption, it's absolutely shocking, to be honest. I hope you can all hear me with the Elvis barking in the background.
Has he found new enemies in the village there?
Probably. I don't know. He tends to just sometimes randomly bark, because I don't know if he just senses things that I don't. But yeah. Elvis! So... But no, it's very well written. I mean, the guy, he's a biographer first and foremost anyway, and he's written. He actually did a biography on John Buchan, actually, and a few others. But his most recent ones have been to do with kind of royal. I don't know, maybe love lives, I suppose, because he did the love lives of Mr. and Mrs. Mountbatten, Lord and Lady Mountbatten, and then he did the Traitor King, so Edward VIII and Mrs. Simpson and whatnot. But now he's done this one, but it's just I don't know, it's just shocking, because she would order, like, according to the book. I don't want to get your channel sued here, but according to the book, she would order like excessive amounts of food at home and then decide to go out, and it's just wasted. And she wouldn't make decisions about what type of pasta she wanted, so they would cook like 12 different pasta dishes just for her and stuff,
Yeah, but be fair, 90% of people, if they had that kind of money and that ability, they would do exactly the same.
Well, I don't know if they would, but I mean, the thing is, they're definitely living more extravagantly than the Queen and Prince.
90% of people do.
Well, but even more so than the Queen and Prince Philip. The number. I mean, even when you compare to like William and what's his wife's name? Prince William's wife.
No idea.
I don't know, but Prince William and his wife, I can't remember. Kate, maybe? Yeah, Catherine. They live much simpler lives. Yeah, I mean, they literally, when it let it all go to his head. And Andrew was definitely the type of person who wandered around going, "Do you know who I am?" And this kind of thing. So
yeah, you're a stuck-up bastard. That's who you are.
Pretty much, yeah. And I love the nicknames they've got. There's so many nicknames, like he's Randy Andy because of his sexual prowess, so to speak. But it's I mean, if I were either of them, I would be pretty upset about this book's existence. So I wonder if Steve's read it, actually, because I know he likes a good royal gossip book and stuff. So be curious, really. What have we got here? Mix is glad you liked House. I've already put. Yeah, it was excellent. Really, really, really good. Someone says, interesting, the comments just disappeared for an ad to come up. Well, that is weird. I noticed they've been doing, I know they do mid-rolls like once it's up. I didn't realize they do mid-rolls and stuff in lives, like in the middle of the live.
No, they shouldn't.
Yeah, because they did it to me the other day.
Or is it in the chat she's talking about in the comments?
Oh, you mean like just one popped up? I don't know.
Because they do StreamYard puts stuff up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think
That's
StreamYard
strange.
has been doing that because they try to put an ad. I probably didn't delete it, but they put an ad in the comment or the description section when you create one. They always
about getting 10% off or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you click the link. Yeah. So, but yeah, House by the Lake, excellent. Recommend it to anybody. And so far, this entitle is excellent. Yeah, very well written, and yeah, I'm really going through it quickly. So I hope to finish that tomorrow. So it was strange because actually yesterday I didn't watch any television at all, which has been unusual for my summer holidays. I just spent the whole evening reading that book. So
yeah, I've gone because there's nothing else that I found to watch. So I'm I'm finding it difficult to pass what little time I have because there's nothing that I can find worth watching.
Yeah. Gareth's here. Hi, Gareth. Hi, guys. You're both looking well. Thank you, Gareth. But I think you need your glasses. At least in my case. Summer, it was in the chat. Oh wow, okay. On your live, Mark, they put actual ads where I felt like I was missing what you said. Well, that's no good, is it? That's no good.
Yeah.
At
So
all.
that's curious. Is that StreamYard or is that YouTube doing that?
Well, I think that must be YouTube if it's in the video. I'd imagine. I don't know.
In the video. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Very strange. Very odd. So yeah, we've mentioned what we're reading. What's everybody else here reading? Anything interesting? Always good to know.
Yeah, I wouldn't call 3 pages over like 4 days reading.
It's 3 pages more than you read last month.
More or less, yeah.
So there you go. Right. Onwards and upwards. So, gosh, comments are either taking a long time to come through or everybody's a bit quiet today.
Yeah.
Got the Saturday blues. I mean, I'm going to have the Sunday blues tomorrow because I'm back to work on Monday. Summer holidays are over. It's crazy. I'm carrying on with The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Any good so far? I've heard good things about it. I keep meaning to actually give it a go myself.
Yeah, a lot of people say it's good. So.
Yeah, I was telling Sean, I picked up this book the other day. I picked up 3 books, but I'll only show you one of them because otherwise then I'll have nothing to show on a YouTube video. But this one here, called The Ministry of Time. And apparently it was shortlisted for the Women's Fiction Prize this year. So, no disrespect, but, it's not my normal cup of tea. I didn't notice that on the front. Not that it would have made a huge amount of difference, but it just would have made me think that maybe it's not my cup of tea. And it does seem to be a bit of a love story, but it does feature a love story with Commander Graham Gore from the Franklin expedition of 1847. And that was my primary reason for picking it up. So it does look quite like it might be interesting. So let me put a light on. What have we got here? Yes, quite gripping so far. Gavin, I just started a reread of Domain by James Herbert, part of the Garb August journey. Mick, I just finished Orbital by Samantha Harvey. It was bloody good. And Summer says, I'm really enjoying The Frozen River by Ariel Lawhorn. Lawhorn or Lawhorn? Lowen, maybe. Lowen. Not sure how to say that. Yeah, so you haven't been reading and you haven't been watching anything?
No, because, Thursday, I've been watching because I've been keeping Prime for a little while just to watch maybe the last episodes of new Star Trek, so the what's it called, the Strange New Worlds,
Mm-hmm.
and for the most part, they're quite bad. But it's like there used to be, when you had 22 episodes in a season or more, like hour episodes, you expect a few fillers and you expect, things may not be that good. But when you only have 10 or 8, when you have bad episodes, that's bad, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And these aren't just sort of, well, the Thursdays was mediocre but quite bad. But there's a few of them that were just absolutely horrid, and I just don't know why, And then there was a couple that were really good. But when you got 10 episodes, they should all be good. They should all be honking good episodes.
Yeah, no excuses there really.
Oh, there isn't.
No.
It's like I like the series Reacher, and like those, there isn't a snooze episode in all the 8 that they do. They just chug along really well.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the first season of that, and then I did struggle a little bit with the second season.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because it was boring. I don't know. It was just I don't know. I just didn't think it was as good. But you know, I only got about 4 episodes in, so maybe I need to stick with it.
Well, I thought it was good, and the third one, I finally got around to seeing the last 2 episodes
Uh-huh.
a few months ago.
Uh-huh. And that was good as well, was it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Mick says, I'm now reading Death on Cromer Beach by Ross Greenwood. A fair to middling police procedural. The best thing about it so far is that it's a large print edition from the library. Ariane, I'm reading The Siege by Ben McIntyre about the 1980 hostage situation at the Iranian embassy in London. Oh, excellent. Yeah, I've got that. It's on my list to read. So you're reading that in conjunction with Hyperion. Kind of interesting. Oh, Elvis is now growling because he can hear the dogs barking. He can hear the dogs barking in your apartment, in your neighbors.
Yeah. Because there's kids outside, so the dogs.
Elvis. Yeah. Stop it. I know maybe there's dogs barking here too, actually. I can hear them. I just put myself on mute. You could talk.
No,
Well,
and
I'm
then
rating Elvis.
All they need to do next door is hear Elvis bark, and then back and forth. You'll have a barking contest
Across the seas. Yes. Yeah. So that's it. So you finished now with your Amazon subscription.
No, well, I don't know. Is there 3 more episodes or so 3 more weeks of the Star Trek thing, and I'm not even sure if I want to finish it now.
Right.
Because it's just, it's just bad. It's like
Badly
I don't
acted or badly written?
just badly done all around. That's the thing. It's like, I don't mind it in some series where if there's an overall arc, because even in the dud episodes they'll have something that propels the arc. But Star Trek, these things are, they're just monster of the week. That's the thing. It's just the thing of the week, and there's no overarching thing happening. So they just snooze episodes. They're just bad. And I just don't know why they do something like that. It's so easy to write something that's really good, or it should be. 10 episodes. How can you go wrong with 10 episodes?
It's crazy. Elvis is keeping the burglars away. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. So. Yeah. You don't listen to the radio much, do you? Though.
Not anymore. I used to listen to BBC Radio 4, but and then I got off of it, and then I went back, and it's just like, oh, this has changed. It's no, I'm no. and I haven't listened to it for a year or more.
Yeah, I listen every day. I can't stop listening to that LBC. I enjoy it. I enjoy the fact people have to call in. You know, I call in myself sometimes. I just like listening to people getting angry over all sorts of things, and yeah, it's interesting listening to these talk radio shows. So I've read Strangers in Time by David Baldacci, Baldacci, a historical novel taking place during World War II, far from Baldacci's crime novels, but really good. Oh, okay, it's interesting, Mary. I do like a good historical fiction. So, yeah. So, yeah, no, I do that. I listen to podcasts a lot as well. You're not a big podcasting person?
No, I can, but it's the thing is the way my brain is working. Like I just so tired all the time. Just listening to audio, just I tune out in 10 seconds. Watching something that's a little better. Um, yeah, and then reading is still it's just I zone out. It's just I'm so tired all the time. Even like when I'm awake, like now, this is about the best I can be in a 24-hour period, and I'm struggling, with my brain. I'm just so tired because I'm not getting enough
Mm,
rest.
mm,
So
mm,
yeah, listening to something is I zone out. Talking is a little better because trying to engage myself and my brain a little more.
mm. I saw Dan Brown has a new book coming out in September. I find him entertaining as long as I don't read them back to back. I don't know, Summer. I think he's an atrocious writer, though, to be honest, in my opinion. And he's always got a lot of, the ideas and premises can be kind of fun, but he does sometimes get some very obvious facts wrong, and that just bothers me. That annoys me. BBC Radio 4 Extras, okay, a mix of comedy, lightweight documentary, and older drama series. Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
pretty
like
good.
that would be better because if they play the older stuff. But yeah, I just found that the new or the BBC Radio 4, it was just like it was a gap for about a year that I didn't listen to it, and then I went back and I'm going, what's going on? It was like it was I guess the easiest way to say it was just pure woke and people being offended by talking about being of comedians in the past and everything like that. They just offended by everything.
Hmm. I don't know if that makes me a book snob, really, Summer, does it? Just saying I don't like Dan Brown? I mean, there are plenty of other people I don't like as well that might be considered more highbrow. But I mean, I've only read two of his. I only read the Da Vinci Code back when it came out, and then Angels and Demons. But I just, I was like, yeah, the idea is not bad, but you've got some errors. I think because I like reading a lot of nonfiction, I prize accuracy. Really, I do. I get annoyed, especially in this day and age when you can literally check everything. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think that makes me a book snob. What do you think? Am I a book snob, Sean? Says me
Uh,
asking someone who might well be a book snob.
well, it depends what you mean by a book snob. Are you talking about an author snob or about books?
Yeah, but
I'm
his
a
writing is
snob because I
atrocious.
prefer I prefer well-made hardcover books to
Mm,
properly made books. So therefore, I'm a book snob.
no, in that
I will
respect.
happily say that.
But his writing is pretty bad. It's so cliche and full of weird caricatures. I mean, what is it in what's the one I just mentioned? His most famous one, Da Vinci Code. He has the Englishman in it who's a baddie. I don't know if that's a spoiler alert because Englishmen are always baddies in the things. And his name is basically Teabag. I mean, it's slightly different, like T Big or Tay Big or something like that. But it's like, come on, you know. The Englishman bad guy is basically called Teabag. I mean, yeah. Sorry, Summer. I'm sorry, but I like things. I like some of the things you like as well. I'm not a complete snob. I just don't like Dan Brown very much. So that's why I don't like him. Yeah, because I don't think he's a particularly good writer, and as I said, he has lots of glaringly factual errors over kind of the simple things that he should know. And then, as I said, it's a shame because he has sometimes good premise. It could be interesting, but I just don't rate him. I know. So, yeah. Have you read any Dan Brown?
No, I was just going to say I haven't read a book. I've picked up, I think, the Da Vinci Code, and I glanced through it and I go, nah.
Well, you can have a go now, Gavin. So we could wind Sean up. Dune is fantasy, not sci-fi.
There's some elements of fantasy, but overall,
yeah. So,
well, it's like you. I think you got around to reading Stella Gibbons' Cold Comfort Farm or whatever. What's it called?
Cold Comfort Farm. You can ask Summer about Cold Comfort Farm.
Yeah, but like there's a few things that are science fiction elements in it, but it's not a science fiction book.
Yeah. No, I mean, but it's weird because I just didn't expect the science fiction elements, the futuristic elements in it.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't read the synopsis properly or whatever, but when I was reading it, she's like, "What? She's having a video call with someone? This is 1927 or whatever, 1931. I can't remember exactly when it was."
Yeah, but it's not a science fiction book. It's got those things in it, but it's not a science fiction book. So,
but can't it be science fiction if it has science fiction in it, though? I mean,
in a broad sense, but
yeah,
it's to say that like it's a book. It's just a mainstream book with some science fiction elements. I think is the easiest way, because you class it under science fiction, people are going to be very disappointed.
Yeah, they will. I think if you class it under anything, people are going to be disappointed. I really didn't think it was that good. Everyone's saying,
"Oh, I didn't like it. I loved
it." Everyone was that. It's laugh out loud funny. I don't think I chuckled once. I mean, there's some. I think it's quite dark, actually. So.
Well, yeah, it's dark and there's dark humor in it, like the woodshed.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just found it all a bit uncomfortable and weird. I really wasn't a fan, and I'm sure Summer won't mind me speaking for her because it was actually our first buddy read on BookTube. And I don't. She felt kind of the same as me. I think both very disappointed in it. So maybe I just didn't know enough about it going in, and it was too subtle. I don't know, but I thought at the time it would have been up my alley. Given the other stuff I like reading. But
there's people that have read P.G. Wodehouse that I've known and don't find anything funny. They don't see any humor in P.G. Wodehouse.
Yeah. Well, that those people are obviously mentally imbalanced. So
yes, it's like when somebody says something like that, and if I know that they've read several, and I go, I'm done with you. I'm done with you. Like, I don't need to speak to you ever again in my life.
Yeah. Where are we? I want Sean to read the Da Vinci Code. Oh, well, there you go. Someone send Sean a copy of the Da Vinci Code. Preferably hardback, right?
Oh, God, no.
Dune is fantastic, whatever it is.
Exactly.
Science fiction readers love being disappointed, though.
Yeah, because, well, it's something to talk about.
Cold Comfort Farm. Mark had to point out the science fiction to me, and I read more science fiction than him. That's true. Best buddy read. Didn't like the book. Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was our best buddy read because the book was rubbish, but it was still nice to have the first one there, though. Yeah. Sorry. Gosh, yeah, no, I have no interest in going back to reread it. That's for sure. So, yeah, but yeah, I can't believe there are people out there that don't like Woodhouse. That's weird.
No,
That's
yeah,
very strange.
like I've known people that just, you know, straight face, and just don't see anything funny in it at all. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it amazes me because there's all sorts of humor in it. The way he even writes, the way he uses dot 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 and stuff like that. It's funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, it's like Three Men in a Boat. How can that not be funny? You know, there's enough humor in it that it should appeal at some point to everybody. But there's still people out there who don't like it.
Well, it's like the other things that I'm surprised that people, like, it was several years ago. Can't remember what the occasion was, but there was a whole bunch of people reading Oscar Wilde's what's the one, the painting in the attic,
Dorian Gray.
Dorian Gray, yeah. And these are all adults, and they were all having trouble understanding it and reading it because they said the language was antiquated. And I'm going, excuse me? I mentioned it to somebody else, and she had said, well, she read it when she was 14 in school. So it can't be that difficult, And I scratch my head at when I hear things like this, where people say books that to me are or should be simple, they have extreme difficulty with, and I just don't understand that.
Yeah, it's like this friend of mine, tried to read War and Peace, and he found it too difficult. He just gave up. I think
I didn't find it difficult. I found something I didn't like. It wasn't.
Just teasing you. So
That's a different matter. You read something you don't like it, that's different. But finding it difficult to understand, it's like John Grisham that Sterling mentions here. It's like somebody picking up John Grisham and saying, "I don't understand it. It's too difficult writing to me." And you kind of wonder, well, what the hell are you reading then?
Well, John Grisham does hold a special place in my heart because when I was like,
I'm not saying that that's a different. There's a different.
No,
thing.
I know, but I'm gonna point out. I mean, I haven't read any since, so it's been at least 25 years, 24 years, 25 years since I picked up and read a Grisham. But when I was in Germany and I was living over there, and I had a few months before I actually got a job sorted out. So I was just kind of stuck in this apartment because I didn't have much money. I didn't have a job, and the only TV channel we had, I think we had BBC News 24 or whatever, BBC World, and I think we had maybe, I don't know, one of the American MSNBC or something like this. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but it was just news basically. And I was getting depressed watching these constant cycles of news. And I went. I must have gone to a bookshop, and all they had was John Grisham, pretty much, in English. So I bought pretty much what they had, and I went home and I would read one day, read another the next day, and I was literally reading like one Grisham a day until I'd read everything he'd written up to that point. And they were great. It was like literally sitting down watching a film, pretty much. They were really fast. But then, other things came along. I left. I had a job. Didn't read him anymore, and I haven't read him since. But he served a purpose for me at that time. So, War and Peace, yes, it is. It is a special book. It is a very, very special book. I still cannot get out of my head the whole not, it's a chapter or a section or part on Natasha's dance here. That was so evocative and so important. And of course, I love the way that I could link that to Orlando Figes' novel, history on Russian culture called Natasha's Dance. Yeah, it was really, really good. Antiquated language. I picked up a cheap copy of Piers the Plowman last week. Now that's a bit of a challenge. Yes.
Yeah, that is understandable.
I'm looking for a decent translation. Well, Chaucer's even understandable, I think, to people when you haven't had any exposure
Yeah,
to it at all.
yeah.
Once you learn how to read Chaucer, it's easier.
But
But
when you read anything that's written in English, like from the 19th century, 20th century, you can't. And if English is your first language, unless it's something that's purposely made to be difficult, like some authors do, that's a different matter. But general fiction, it's not difficult to understand if
no,
you
but
know.
I think what puts maybe it's not the words themselves. I think that people struggle with. It's the style, stylistically. You know, sometimes it's unnatural. Like even when you read Dickens, sometimes the way he constructs his sentence, the way he writes, and you know other of these authors from that time, it's not natural for us when reading, especially if we're going to read it aloud. We will stumble over it from time to time because we're expecting something else to come after. You know what I mean? Like said
Yeah,
he as opposed to he said. You know, it's a very basic example, but I think stylistically, the style is the problem for a lot of people, isn't
yeah,
it?
but it's
Rather
not.
than,
But can that be difficult? I just don't
no,
understand
but
how.
I think you would if you're not used to it. I think you have to slow down, or you have to think about it more than you would if you
Yeah,
were reading
yeah,
John Grisham.
but to say you don't understand it, like the way these people were saying, like
Yeah.
I've even heard some young people, like mid-aged teenagers, talking about reading something from the 1980s and thinking that they're reading, Latin or something like that because they can't
Mhm.
understand it. And
Well, I
it's
mean,
like,
when you think about it, like even when Oscar Wilde's writing, or Conan Doyle, or whatever, th- they're it's not that far removed from you and me, at least. I mean,
yeah,
maybe for kids today, but it's the generation of our grandparents or great grandparents. We knew people who were born in the same century as those books were published, and we were speaking to them without any difficulty. So yeah, so I don't know. Hi, Constance. Good to see you.
hello. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no,
where the people born in the previous century?
yeah.
Yeah,
We're probably among the last age groups that can remember people clearly who were born in the 19th century.
yeah.
I'm assuming your great grandparents maybe weren't born in the 19th century, if not your grandparents.
Well, my great grandparents were, but my grandparents were in the first few years of. Oh well, no, actually, my grand my grandfather on my mom's side would have been born because he died in like the 50s or something like that at 90 some years old. So
Oh well,
yeah,
he died in the 50s at 90 something years old.
I think so. Yeah, because he
Blimey,
was.
so he was born like the 1860s or something.
Yeah, he was. Well, he was apparently in the Polish army in some big war in the 1880s. So
Uh huh. Uh huh.
I don't know anything about him.
Wow. Gosh, in the Polish army.
Yeah, apparently.
Uh huh. So you're originally Stanfastski, are you?
No, that's on the one side where
I
there's
know. I know.
Ukrainian and Polish, and then the other side there's English, UK English. There's French. There's Native Indian. Um, those are, I guess, the main ones. French is a big one on the one side as well.
No, but Ukrainian Polish is interesting, definitely. It's a shame you can't research that. That'd be rather interesting.
Yeah, that's to be really difficult. I got my grandmother's birth certificate, but that was issued in the 1980 or something like that, or the 70s,
Uh huh.
by from the Soviet Union. So
Uh huh. Uh huh.
it's got her location and stuff, but I don't know how many records there's going to be of that stuff, anywhere in the Eastern Bloc, basically. Well, it's not
Yeah.
Eastern Bloc anymore.
Well, you never know. I mean, a lot of these totalitarian regimes were rather good at record keeping. So you know, I mean, it's amazing. Like reading this House on the by the Lake, House on the Lake, House by the Lake. how he is able to piece these lives together of the people who lived in that house, because, of course, of surviving documents, even after the destruction Berlin went through in the thing. But there was a section in there, or there was a part in there where he started talking about these horrific murders, and they happened like in the late 40s, I think, if the latest, the early 50s. But they were supposedly committed by, I don't know if it's one person, like a Russian soldier, or whether it was a group of them. But they were like horrific, brutal murders, with mutilations and things going on. And of course, the Soviet authorities kept it quiet because they didn't want to admit. So they were saying it must be, fascist elements from the West, were causing trouble and doing these things and whatever. But I'd really like to know more about them. And I looked in his bibliography, and I couldn't find any reference to those specifically, that in a book that he had read. But I do like a bit of good crime, especially good gory crime, and this sounds like just the kind of thing that would be really interesting to read about. These kind of pre-Berlin Wall, occupied Berlin serial killings. Yeah, so I don't know. I need to see if I can find some more about them. So,
Well, I think it'd be kind of interesting. I think somebody could do a interesting history book of, say, London or even England, based on, just pick a street somewhere in London that had a lot of history of violence and police, action, because there's all the police records. You could just go into those records and probably find so much interesting stuff that you could write a history based on them. These families that were there.
Yeah, you could have a name, I don't know, like let's say Kitchener Street, right?
Yeah.
And then in East London or somewhere, and you would be able to pretty much document the lives of people who lived on that street and what went on. Would be quite fascinating,
because
really.
then you get, you could probably pull a lot of stuff out if you do the right area, with booths, London Poor.
Oh,
You
yeah.
probably get later bits of the descendants living there talking about their lives.
Yeah. I mean, it did get me thinking, because obviously they had the people who built the house. Then, the next people ended up, because I mean, the original builders were Jewish, so they left. Someone else took it over. Then it's after the war with communism, they left, and so on and so forth. But it did get me thinking that, like, I don't know, 100 years from now, if what the history of this house would be, if it's still around. You know what I mean? Because I live, I built it, I had it built. I'm living here with my dog. When I'm gone, I don't have much, I don't really have much extended family. I have one sibling, and if I outlive them, then there's no one to leave it to, kind of thing. So then it gets, I don't know, whatever happens to, you know what I mean? So there could be a story here eventually that I'll never know about, of course, and I started it, I founded it, as it were. So,
well, you could do that with any house. I think that's
yeah,
the thing.
for sure.
You just pick it, or talking about books, pick a book and just talk about its history of where it's been, who has owned it. You'd have to, do a lot of research to try to find the right book to show. And you don't want something. Oh, well, you could do something that's really high end, that's an antiquarian manuscript or something like that. But just a book that was written in 1600 or something like that, or published in the 1600s, and just follow this through, because if you had the provenance for all that, it would be really interesting, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it does lend itself well, just for practical purposes. I think it lends itself well to a novel.
Yeah.
You could really have fun with that, like writing a novel about the history of a book as it's passed around, where it ends up, where it goes, how many times around the world it goes, whatever. It's kind of cool. We've got a couple of comments here. Where are we? Mick says, uninteresting point. The maternal side of my family comes from 10-ish miles from that lake. Oh, wow. Okay. Your mother born in 1930 and has some very interesting stories. Well, that's cool. That's really cool. That's not uninteresting. That's very interesting. Yeah. Hopefully not a murder story. Well, as long as I'm not the victim, it wouldn't bother me too much, right? If I didn't know anything about it, what came after. So, I was only murdered once, says Greg. Hi, Greg. How's it going?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I heard something which I thought was an interesting thing, and I don't know if it's bullshit, but I'm sure somebody might have tried this or trying this who has a life sentence in prison, and until he dies or something like that, and then he has a heart, and he does die for like 2 minutes. He's clinically dead for a couple minutes, then
Uh-huh.
brought back to life. So therefore, he should be released because he has spent his life. And apparently somebody is doing this, and it's in the courts because they're not 100% sure what to do with this legally wise. I don't know how true that is, but you could see this working.
I don't know, because I think, isn't that where the whole kind of idea of being brain dead comes in?
Yeah,
And in
well,
which
that's the thing.
case,
That's the thing. And when if in the law or the prison thing, does it say clinically dead, or what are the terms? What is the meaning of dead? Does it mean clinically dead where your heart stops, or brain dead? And if you're brain dead, people have come back from that as well, I think.
really? I don't
I
think you
think
can
I
come back
think
from that.
so.
All right.
uh,
I don't know.
People have.
I thought
um
that was it. Lights out. Job
Yeah,
done.
I thought so too, but I'm sure I read something somewhere where they said somebody was brain dead and they did come back.
Although to think about it, there are plenty of brain dead people walking around, so
Yeah,
yeah, could be fair.
and running countries.
No special mentions though. Yeah. So yeah, no, I don't know, but you're right. I mean, the story of certain books could be interesting. I mean, I look at it. I've got a few here. I've got a few here that I know because they got stamps in there. Began life elsewhere, right? So, like, I think I've got a copy of. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But it's from the British Embassy Library in Geneva or somewhere, or Bern, or I don't know. Yeah, I think in Switzerland somewhere. And you think, well, okay, it's not a million miles away, Switzerland to Czech Republic, but it's still kind of interesting. Why is it here?
Well, I've got a few things that are interesting as well. Like, uh, there's a book that I bought at Oxford, at the Oxfam bookshop in Oxford. It was a decommissioned book from the uh, Pitt Rivers Museum Library.
Mm-hmm.
It was donated in the late 1920s. I've been able to verify that. And it has, who it was donated by. It was donated by the widow of I can't remember the guy's name, but anyway, the story is, it's not a story. These are true facts. He was a professor of history. But in his early days in the 1800s, he went to the United States to try to make his fortune. He tried gold mining, and then the last time he was there, he did cattle moving, cattle trails, and he
Yeah.
was stopped on one of them by Billy the Kid.
Oh.
But then was let go, and he wrote several books, things like a tenderfoot in Colorado, a tenderfoot here and there.
Yeah.
And he also collected Native American um, artistic stuff like bead bags and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the first people to do it. And he donated that to Pitt Rivers, but he also knew Algar, who wrote one of his variations based on one of his travels, like the Tenderfoot Inn, wherever, Colorado, like that. And this book that I have belonged to him shortly before he died, and it's a book of American ballads, songs.
Right.
And
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
So how did you end up in your hands?
As I said, I bought it at the Oxfam bookshop in Oxford.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, how did it end up at the Oxfam bookshop in Oxford?
Don't know. There's some other names in it. It looks like it was decommissioned. I'm not sure if I found out the date it was decommissioned, but I think in the 50s. But it also belonged to somebody else. I think was a history professor at the university. So it eventually was donated through that. And this is just from the 20s, from earlier mid 20s.
Yeah,
it's an interesting history of the book, of that book.
It may have been a science fiction story, Sean.
Could have been.
Probably moved on. Talking about the subject of executions and people surviving, you've got the story of John Barleycorn. I know that name. I have to look it up.
Yeah, I can't think of name at the moment.
It's a song.
Yeah,
it's English and Scottish folk song. Huh. I guess. Yeah, it's a ballad. Oh, it's a ballad from Robert Burns. Robbie Burns. So, Greg says, it just so happens that your friend here is only mostly dead. There's a big difference between mostly dead and all dead. Mostly dead is slightly alive. I think I'm mostly alive, I hope. Good point, Greg. Indeed. Yeah. Well, I don't know, Sean. I'm going to have to think about going. It's getting dark and a certain animal has to go out. So, how are you holding up?
Oh, not too bad. I am tired as usual. My brain isn't fully connected at times. I struggled there going through that story of that book.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to overdo it, do we? I suppose. So, you fine finishing now? Or do you want to wait till the hour's completed?
Well, we can wait. There's probably a few more comments here.
Yeah, well, Gareth popped in. I was confused. I was thinking of John Bambercombe, who survived hanging 3 times, and they let him go. So, well, yeah, that's a bit harsh, isn't it? He was only ordered to be hanged once. So technically, I suppose if that didn't work, they should have let him go after the first attempt. But so
either that, or they have him drop too far, and it just rips the whole head off.
Oh, yeah, horrible.
I don't think you're coming back from that.
No, I think that's definite end. Yeah. I'm surprised it's actually got that dark. It just shows how the nights are drawing in now. It wasn't that long ago that it was like 8:45 that it was still light out, and it's really getting dark now. It's not even 8 o'clock. So
yeah, well, it's still light here because it's still 7. Coming up to 7.
Yeah, well, you've got the extra hour. Well, not extra hour. You're an hour behind me, so.
Or it's ahead because I got an extra hour in the day, so it's ahead an hour.
How do you have an extra hour in the day?
Well, because I still got an extra hour before midnight than you do. You only have 4 hours to midnight. I got 5 hours to midnight. So
yeah.
Hour to midnight. So therefore, I'm ahead of you.
But I'm the one living in the future.
It doesn't matter. I'm still ahead of you because it's.
Sounds too complex in my little brain.
Well, it's like that one. Somebody's done a video saying, enter your your password. So the guy goes, password. No, try again. And goes through all the things. And I thought that was really good because it's exactly what it's saying.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. Well, it doesn't look like any more comments are coming in. Oh, opposite Sean. Do you know what that's in reference to? I'm a bit lost now.
Sure.
Opposite Sean. What? Opposite Sean. Spooky.
Can't put it on top of each other, can you? That's Instagram, I think. Like that's how that works on Instagram. You can't put it side by side. You're on top of each other when you're live on Instagram.
Yeah. I feel like I should be talking to you like this. All right. How's it going? Shake hands.
Yeah, so if anybody's missed is interested.
Oh yeah, someone's saying you're behind Mark in time, not ahead.
Yeah, see that it doesn't make because
I'm 1 hour closer.
I know what you're saying. I know, I understand all that, but I think you can because it's like because when you get up, if you get up at 7 in the morning and I got up at 6, regardless of the time difference, not time difference, I'm getting up before you. I'm getting up earlier than you. I'm getting up before, so I'm getting up before. That's that if you look at it that way, it makes sense.
Well, if you got it means you have an extra hour than me, not ahead of me.
Well, you're ahead in the day because you got up an hour earlier.
Yeah.
So if you look at it that way, that makes sense. And then you look at it the other way, it makes sense as well. It's an occasion where both to me make perfect sense. Depends on how you look at it. It depends. It depends on how you look at it. It's like it's just a paradigm shift, basically.
Well, your day would be longer if you got up at 6 and I got up at 7.
Yeah.
Only if I went to bed at 10 and you went to bed at 11.
Well, it doesn't matter what time to bed because that's the day before. It's like if two people are in the same time zone, one gets up at 7 a.m. and one gets up at 6 a.m. The one that got up at 6 a.m. is got up before the other one.
Yeah, in the same time zone, but I'm an hour ahead of you.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It's before, so therefore they're ahead. The person who got up at 6 is ahead of the person who got up at 7, who got up later.
Even though it's actually the same time.
No, I'm talking about 7 a.m. and 6 a.m. Getting up at 6 a.m. one person and one person getting up at 7 a.m.
In the same time zone or in different time zones?
Right. Same time zone. So the person who got up at 6 a.m. it got up earlier than the person who got up at 7.
Yes.
Yeah. So therefore they're ahead in the day. They're before them in the day. So you look at it that way, that makes perfect sense. So therefore, any time that if with the time change, because even with the time change, are different time zones, because you're later than I am, then I'm earlier than you. So therefore, I'm before you. Like I say, you can look at it either way. It both works. It depends on how you look at it.
But I can always beat you. Because I can always wake up at midnight on the next day, and then you'll never be able to catch me.
Yeah, but I'm getting up before you still, though.
It can't be, because you'll be getting up the previous day if you beat me. If you try to beat me.
Yeah,
by getting
yeah.
up at
And we're
11.
talking about one thing of getting up and beating that way, but it still means that it's at the same it's actually the same moments. But
It's the
when
same
you look
moment,
at, yeah, it's the same moment, but it's just I think a different way of looking at it, and I think both are valid. I think both are valid. That and it's like that's the thing that people. Well, what's the saying? Spring forward, fall back, or something like that. To me, it's like that doesn't make sense, because I would never spring forward. I'd always fall backwards. You spring back from something. And
No, spring is jump. You jump forward. You spring.
it
Well, in
depends on
German,
what it is.
springen is jump anyway, so you would jump forward. Yeah. So a few people are a lot of people have their brains fried. So Mark gets to the 24th before you. Ahead is not earlier. You're frying my brain. Mark will always be ahead of us. Well, Gareth, I that's the story of my life. But we are always behind. We are always ahead of
See, that's the
Americans.
thing,
Oh my
and
goodness.
to me, that is everybody is focused on that. But when you think of it a different way, you're earlier. They're earlier, so therefore they're before you in the day. They still got lots more hours.
Okay, is that? I get what you're saying. They've got more hours left in the day, but they're not there before you.
Well, then the other person is not. What I mean is they're because you've got more time left in the day. They are before, because they haven't yet got to the time you have in their day. So therefore,
They're
they're before that.
preceding you.
Yeah, they preceded you. Yeah, in time, in time that's left in the day, and it makes sense.
I feel like we're missing the wrong word here. I get what you're saying, but I don't think you're saying it right, or I'm saying it right either. But I know what you mean. So basically, you get up before me. There's more. You've got more time in the day because I've got an hour less.
Yeah, yeah, and that is a valid way of looking at it, and it's
Yeah.
also a valid way to say that because you're ahead in time, because ahead in the sense further ahead in the day, you're further ahead in the 24-hour clock
Yes, but then you can
than
say
I am.
I've had the extra time because, like, I don't know. Let's take someone in America, right? I've been up, doing all this stuff during the day while they've just been sleeping, tooting into their mattress and
Yeah, but it
snoring
doesn't
away
have to.
and
But
dribbling
it doesn't have to
everywhere.
be. You don't have to do it on sleeping. You
Yeah,
could
but
do
the
it
time is
from.
all the same, right? It's only still 24 hours. It doesn't matter how we spend it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. That's the thing, and it's like ahead, like you're and somebody like we're further ahead in the day than they are on that day, but then they're also before us in the 24-hour clock. They still have the same length of time to go for another day, but at that moment at 12 noon our time, they if they're on Eastern, it's whatever 5 hours before, and it is before. It's not after. We're after them, so therefore we're further along than them
Well,
in
I
many
think but you have to take your starting point as GMT, which
Yeah,
is
but
how we
why?
have
The GMT.
behind and in
Yeah,
front.
we see this is where it's a problem, because that is something that is artificial. That is totally
Yes,
artificial. It
yes, it
could be
is.
the GMT could be through Tennessee.
Yeah,
It could be anywhere in the world.
yeah, yeah.
But because it is there, and the GMT is where it is, on the one side is going to be before on the one side, and the one is going to be after it.
Yeah,
So which
that's
one is
true.
before and which one's after?
But we have to take it on where the artificial line has been drawn.
Yeah.
So
But what I'm saying is,
I mean,
you look at it in a different way.
you're in front of GMT at the moment, anyway.
Yeah, because of summertime,
Yeah.
pretty summertime.
Yeah. Now I'll just get to the comments. Sorry. Where are we? This is like who's on first. Not sure why Sean says it depends. The clock can't be changed. Mick is confused.
It's not that it depends.
Don't worry. There's more points down below, which maybe after address what you said. So we'll just go through it all. There's a space time with Elvis. So we have more hours in the day because we are behind. Early to bed, early to rise, etc. He has less hours because he is ahead. I guess that's me. He doesn't have an hour less in reality because it was just earlier, but the same amount of time. Constance asks, are you speaking of hours spent in actual daylight? Sterling Summer says, I take naps, so I always have less time. Constance, less wrinkles too, probably. This is classic Shaw. Says Gareth. Since this conversation started, time has slowed down. This reminds me of late night college conversations, which I could get as well. The world should be run on UTC GMT. There's be fewer arguments like this. And there we go. So
no, it's just the case where people can find it so difficult to look at things in a different way. That's all I'm trying to say. I agree with everything you're saying there, and everybody's saying that. But I'm just saying you can actually look at it a different way.
I do get your point. I just don't know of the right way to use the word before. That's what.
Well, on the way the clock is, because we are using that clock and we are using GMT, you do have a before and you have an after.
Well, definitely,
in reality, there is no before and after. It's all at the same time.
Yeah.
But because there is a clock and we're regimented to this clock, there is a before and after. So therefore,
maybe not the same time. It's the same moment. Maybe.
Yeah, but the thing, because it's the same moment. So the clock is meaningless. But when you use the clock and you think of it that way, you can do it in both ways, and to me they're both valid. And that's the thing. People find it very difficult to see things in a different light. That's why there's wars. That's why there's everything that's happening. You go to cultures who call, like, people see things differently, and just simple things. It's like just as simple as when somebody tackles somebody and in the house, like I saw, I see it on all the time, and they say, oh, they've dropped it on the floor in the house. They're out on the street or in the forest, on grass, and they say it's to the floor. That's a different. You could say, well, it's not floor. You could argue to the end of the day that it's not a floor, and it's not.
Well, I think
words differently. It's a different way of looking at things.
I think it's a good place to stop because, as whatever it is, I do have less time than you, and I'd rather spend it arguing about how much time I've got left or not, because I really will have.
It has nothing to do with how much time is
left.
left.
I know, but obviously it's dark here. It's not there, and my little baby needs to go for a wee. So, but it's been fun. So wrap it up, Sean. It's your channel. You're the host.
Okay, bye everybody. Thanks for stopping by.
Take care.
I'm saying bye in the future before everybody else.